Unexpected discovery. The massive exploration vessel Celestial Dominion decelerated as it entered the Sol system, its quantum engines humming with power that could tear a moon apart if unleashed. Commander Zex Terra stood on the command deck, 6 golden eyes scanning the holographic display of the unremarkable yellow star and its orbiting planets. "Another primitive system," muttered Science Officer Velnar, her scaled fingers dancing across the control interface. "Initial scans show only one habitable planet, third from the star. Basic technology signatures, artificial satellites in orbit, rudimentary space stations." Zex Terra's dorsal spines fluttered with mild interest. The galactic hegemony had cataloged thousands of pre-spacefaring civilizations across the galaxy. Most would be left to develop until they reached the threshold for contact, while others would be quietly annexed for resources if they showed little promise. "What species?" Zex Terra asked, mandibles clicking softly. "Bipedal mammals. They call themselves humans. Their planet is Earth," Velnar replied. "They've achieved nuclear fission, digital technology, and have sent primitive craft to their moon and neighboring planets. Nothing remarkable." "How long since their industrial revolution?" "Approximately 250 local orbits." Zex Terra's eyes narrowed. That was unusually fast progress for a young species, but still nowhere near hegemony standards. "Any unified planetary government?" "Negative. Multiple nation-states with ongoing conflicts. They can't even agree on basic climate regulations." That sealed it for Zex Terra. Divided species rarely posed challenges. The hegemony could easily manipulate competing governments against each other. It was a strategy that had worked for millennia. "Prepare a first contact protocol. We'll observe for one local rotation, then approach their leadership structures," Zex Terra ordered. "Mark this system as Category 3, Potential Resource World." As the Celestial Dominion silently approached Earth, staying behind the moon to avoid immediate detection, the massive vessel's sensors swept the planet with detailed scans, cataloging population centers, military installations, and resource deposits. What the scans couldn't detect lay 3 kilometers beneath the Sierra Nevada mountains in North America. General Maya Chen stood in the center of Earth Defense Command, watching as technicians monitored the alien vessel's approach. The circular chamber, illuminated by soft blue light, hummed with the quiet efficiency of humanity's most advanced technology. "Still no indication they've detected our quantum grid?" Chen asked. "None, General," replied Colonel Ibarra, her fingers moving across a seemingly ordinary glass panel that controlled Earth's planetary defense systems. "Their scan technology follows predictable patterns, advanced by conventional standards, but completely blind to our dimensional phasing." Chen nodded, her expression betraying nothing of the tension she felt. Humanity had known about the galactic hegemony for over 70 years, ever since the first dimensional resonance detectors had picked up their faster-than-light signatures passing through nearby systems. Earth's governments had made the historic decision to unify secretly while maintaining the appearance of division. The public still believed they lived in a world of competing nation-states. In reality, the World Unity Government had been operating from the shadows for decades, directing humanity's resources toward a single goal: survival in a hostile galaxy. "Status of the defense grid?" Chen asked. "Fully operational but dormant," Colonel Ibarra replied. "Dimensional phasing at maximum. They can't see anything we don't want them to see." The general moved to a larger display showing the alien vessel's position. "And the Jupiter platforms?" "Ready, General. All 19 Stellar-class weapons platforms remain undetected in the Trojan points." Chen allowed herself a small smile. Earth's greatest advantage was that they had developed along an entirely different technological path than the rest of the galaxy. While the hegemony and other alien civilizations had mastered conventional physics, manipulating gravity, energy, and matter, humanity had discovered dimensional phasing, the ability to partially shift objects and energy into parallel dimensions. It meant their most powerful technologies were literally out of phase with alien detection methods. The hegemony couldn't find what wasn't fully in their dimension. "They're moving to establish orbit," reported Lieutenant Wilson from the sensor station. "Their emissions suggest they're preparing communication arrays." "Exactly as expected," Chen said. "They think we're just another primitive world to add to their collection." She turned to face the command staff. "Maintain all protocols. Let them believe what they want to believe. We've prepared for this moment for generations." On the main screen, the alien vessel, nearly 5 kilometers long, moved into high Earth orbit, its sleek, crystalline shape catching the sunlight as it emerged from behind the moon. "Preparing first contact transmission," announced Communications Officer Trellbacks on the Celestial Dominion, broadcasting on all electromagnetic frequencies they utilize. Commander Zex Terra straightened his ceremonial cape. First contacts were routine for the hegemony, but they followed strict protocols. The less advanced the species, the more impressive the introduction should be. "Begin," he ordered. The transmission began, interrupting broadcasts across Earth with the image of Zex Terra standing before the hegemony emblem, a spiral galaxy encircled by 12 stars. "People of Earth," the translation matrices converted his clicks and whistles into human languages. "I am Commander Zex Terra of the Galactic Hegemony. We come in peace to welcome your world to the greater community of intelligent species. Your planet has been noticed and cataloged as a developing civilization. We offer knowledge, technology, and protection in exchange for peaceful integration into our united galactic society." It was the standard opening. Vague promises with unstated consequences for refusal. Most primitive worlds responded with awe and immediate acquiescence. Earth's response was puzzling. Rather than frantic reactions from multiple governments, a single transmission returned. A human female with dark skin and silver-streaked hair appeared on the command deck's main screen. "Greetings, Commander Zex Terra. I am Secretary General Amara Okafor of the United Nations. On behalf of Earth, we welcome peaceful contact with the galactic hegemony." Zex Terra's spines fluttered in confusion. The calm, measured response wasn't typical of pre-Unity species. Still, the mention of United Nations confirmed their divided state. This was merely one of Earth's many governing bodies. "Secretary General, we request permission to send representatives to discuss terms of integration," Zex Terra said. "We would be honored," Okafor replied with a slight smile. "Please send your coordinates, and we will direct you to an appropriate landing location." As the transmission ended, Science Officer Velnar approached Zex Terra privately. "Commander, something feels wrong. Their response is too coordinated for a fractured world." Zex Terra dismissed the concern with a flick of his hand. "They're simply trying to present a united front. It's common among species facing first contact. Prepare the diplomatic shuttle and security detail." "Security assessment of their military capabilities?" asked Security Chief Borlak. "Negligible," Velnar replied. "Nuclear missiles with limited range, kinetic weapons, primitive aircraft. Nothing that could threaten even our shuttle, let alone the Dominion." Zex Terra nodded in satisfaction. "Another routine acquisition for the hegemony. Transmit our landing coordinates. Let's get this over with." In Earth Defense Command, General Chen watched the alien communication with calculated interest. "They've taken the bait," she said as the transmission ended. "They believe Secretary General Okafor represents just one of our governing bodies." "Landing coordinates received," Colonel Ibarra reported. "They've selected the neutral zone we prepared in Switzerland." Chen nodded. Everything was proceeding according to the long-established first contact protocol. For decades, humanity had maintained the illusion of division precisely for this moment, to appear weaker than they truly were. "Activate Phase 2, Chen ordered. "Keep the dimensional grid at minimum detection threshold. Let them see just enough to make them curious, not enough to make them run." Throughout the solar system, hidden defense platforms shifted slightly out of dimensional phase, becoming barely perceptible to advanced sensors, like shadows glimpsed from the corner of one's eye. Aboard the Celestial Dominion, Alarm signals suddenly flashed across monitoring stations. "Commander," Velnar called out, her voice tense. "I'm detecting anomalies throughout the system, energy signatures that weren't there before." Zexterra strode quickly to the science station. "Explain." "There's something." Velnar adjusted the sensors. "It's as if objects are appearing and disappearing from our scans. I can't get a lock." Security Chief Borlak joined them. His warrior instincts triggered. Could be sensor malfunctions. Across all bands simultaneously. Velnar shook her head. "Impossible." Zexterra felt the first stirrings of concern. Location of these anomalies. "That's the troubling part," Velnar replied, bringing up a system map. "They're everywhere. Earth orbit, their moon, Mars, the asteroid belt, even Jupiter's Lagrange points. It's as if an entire defense network just partially revealed itself." Borlak's battle membranes slid over his eyes. "It's a trap." Zexterra stared at the display, watching as ghostly signatures appeared and disappeared across the solar system. How could a pre-Unity species with primitive technology have deployed system-wide defenses that the Dominion sensors could barely detect? "Full scan of Earth," he ordered sharply. "Maximum resolution. I want to know what we're dealing with." As the enhanced scans probed deeper, more anomalies appeared. Massive energy signatures beneath the planet's surface. Structures that seemed to exist between states of matter. Technology that defied hegemony classification. "Impossible," whispered Velnar. "They're using technologies we've never encountered before. It's as if they're partially out of phase with normal spacetime." Zexterra's mandibles clicked rapidly as the implications became clear. The hegemony had gravely miscalculated. Earth wasn't a primitive, divided world ripe for integration. It was something else entirely. And the diplomatic shuttle was already preparing to land. Power revealed. The hegemony shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere, its silvery hull reflecting the morning sunlight as it approached the designated landing zone, a flat clearing surrounded by alpine mountains in Switzerland. Commander Zexterra stood by the viewport, his posture rigid with tension. "Any response from the Dominion?" he asked Velnar, who had insisted on joining the diplomatic mission after detecting the anomalous energy signatures. "Still analyzing the data, Commander," she replied. "But one thing is clear. These humans have been deliberately concealing their true technological capabilities." Zexterra's inner eyelids flicked in agitation. The shuttle carried 20 elite hegemony guards, but if his growing suspicions were correct, that might not be enough. In 3,000 years of expansion, the hegemony had never encountered a species that had developed along such a different technological path that it could hide its advancements so completely. "Prepare for any contingency," he instructed Security Chief Borlak, "but maintain diplomatic protocols. We need to understand what we're facing before we act." The shuttle touched down gently on the landing pad. Through the viewports, Zexterra could see a small welcoming committee of humans, just 7 individuals standing calmly in the mountain air. "Minimal security presence," noted Borlak. "Either extremely confident or extremely foolish. Or something else entirely," Zexterra muttered as the landing ramp extended. He led the delegation down onto Earth's surface, breathing the oxygen-rich air that felt pleasant even through the atmospheric filters. The human delegation approached, led by the same dark-skinned female from the transmission. "Commander Zexterra," Secretary General Okafor said with a respectful nod. "Welcome to Earth. I trust your journey was comfortable." "Indeed," Zexterra replied, studying her closely. For a supposedly primitive species, she showed remarkable composure in the presence of aliens. "Though I must confess, Secretary General, we have detected some unusual energy signatures in your system that weren't apparent in our initial scans." Okafor smiled. "Yes, I imagine you have. Perhaps we should discuss that during our meeting. Please, follow me." She led them toward a sleek building nestled against the mountainside. As they walked, Zexterra noticed something odd. The building seemed to shimmer slightly, as if not entirely solid. Inside, the delegation was escorted to a circular conference room with a spectacular view of the mountains. The room contained a large round table with seats accommodating both human and hegemony physiology. Once seated, Okafor dispensed with pleasantries. "Commander, I believe we should be direct with each other. You came to Earth expecting to find a primitive, divided species ready for integration into your hegemony. What you found is something quite different." Zexterra's spines flattened against his back, a sign of caution among his species. "You present a unified front now, Secretary General, but our intelligence clearly shows Earth is divided into nation-states, often in conflict with each other." Okafor laughed softly. "A carefully maintained illusion, Commander. Earth has been unified for over 70 years, since we first detected hegemony vessels passing through neighboring systems. The revelation sent a shock through the alien delegation. Borlak tensed visibly, while Velnar's scientific curiosity overtook her alarm. "Impossible," Velnar said. "No pre-FTL civilization has detection capabilities at that range." "Conventional ones don't," agreed one of the humans, an elderly man who introduced himself as Dr. Chen Wei, director of Earth's scientific coalition. "But we didn't develop along conventional lines." Wei gestured, and the center of the table illuminated with a holographic display. But unlike any hologram the aliens had seen, the images seemed to exist partially outside normal space, with colors that shouldn't be possible and depths that hurt the eye to follow. 73 years ago, Wei explained, we discovered what we call dimensional phasing, the ability to shift matter and energy partially into parallel dimensions. While the rest of the galaxy was perfecting manipulations of conventional physics, humanity took a different path. The hologram shifted to show Earth's defense network, thousands of installations and platforms throughout the solar system, most existing partially out of phase with normal spacetime. "We've been watching the galaxy for decades," Okafor continued, "learning about the hegemony and other powers. We maintained our appearance of division because we recognize something fundamental about advanced civilizations. They underestimate what they don't understand." Zexterra felt the ground shifting beneath him, metaphorically, and more alarmingly, literally. The entire building seemed to pulse slightly, as if not entirely anchored in reality. "This facility," Wei explained, noticing the alien's discomfort, "exists 30% out of phase with your dimension. That's why your sensors had difficulty detecting our technology. It's not that we're more advanced. We're just different." Borlak had heard enough. The warrior rose to his feet. "Commander, this is clearly a hostile situation. We should return to the Dominion and report to the Hegemony Council." Okafor raised a hand. "Before you consider any aggressive action, Commander, perhaps you should see what you're facing." She nodded to another human, who activated a control panel. The mountain view through the windows changed, revealing what had been hidden. Massive defense installations embedded in the mountainside, phase shifting between dimensions as the aliens watched. "We could have destroyed your ship the moment it entered our system," Okafor said calmly. "Instead, we chose contact." Zexterra found his voice again. "If what you say is true, why reveal yourselves now? Why not continue your deception?" "Because the galaxy is changing," Okafor replied. "We've detected threats beyond the hegemony's borders, entities that move between dimensions naturally, threats to all sentient life." The hologram shifted again, showing disturbances at the galaxy's edge. Tiers in spacetime that even hegemony science had only theorized about. "We believe," Wei continued, "that conventional technology and dimensional phasing together might be the key to addressing these threats. We didn't reveal ourselves to challenge the hegemony, Commander. We revealed ourselves to propose an alliance." Zexterra sat in stunned silence. In one brief meeting, everything he understood about galactic hierarchy had been upended. A supposedly primitive world had not only developed technology the hegemony couldn't detect, but was now offering to share it as equals. "Your council believes itself the pinnacle of galactic civilization," Okafor said. We're offering something more valuable, a different perspective. Before Zexterra could respond, an urgent communication came through from the Dominion. Commander, came the panicked voice of his first officer. We're detecting massive energy buildups throughout the system. Weapons platforms are fully visible now. Thousands of them. They've locked onto our position, but haven't fired. On the table display, the humans showed the full extent of Earth's defenses as they phased completely into normal space. A demonstration of power that left no doubt about the outcome should conflict erupt. Zexterra looked at Okafor, seeing her not as a primitive being, but as an equal, perhaps even a superior. You never needed this meeting, he realized aloud. You could have destroyed us at any time. We don't want destruction, Okafor replied firmly. Humanity has had enough of conflict. We want cooperation, Commander. Your hegemony has technologies we lack, just as we have knowledge you've never imagined. Together, we might face what's coming from beyond the galaxy's edge. Zexterra made the most important decision of his long life. With deliberate movements, he removed his command insignia and placed it on the table, a gesture of respect in hegemony culture. Secretary General Okafor, I cannot speak for the entire Hegemony Council, but I recognize when old assumptions must be discarded. Earth is clearly not a world to be integrated, but a power to be reckoned with, and perhaps, as you suggest, an ally against greater threats. Okafor smiled and extended her hand in the human gesture of agreement. After a moment's hesitation, Zexterra extended his three-fingered hand to meet hers. Outside the phase-shifted conference room, Earth's hidden defense network gradually returned to its concealed state, vanishing from conventional detection. But the message had been delivered. Humanity had revealed itself to the galaxy, not as a conquest to be made, but as a power to be respected. The age of Earth's isolation was over, and a new chapter in galactic history had begun. One where humans and aliens would face the universe's mysteries together, each bringing their unique perspective to challenges beyond imagination. As the diplomatic shuttle lifted off to return to the celestial dominion, Zexterra looked down at the blue planet that had changed everything. For the first time in his career, he wondered not what the hegemony could take from a world, but what they might learn from it. The galaxy would never be the same again.